How does a small human hunt a mammoth? Not an elephant, not a deer, not a wolf, a mammoth, a giant animal covered in thick hair, a moving mountain with tusks, stronger than any person, heavier than anything a human could push, tall enough to make a hunter feel like a child. And yet, ancient humans found a way. That is the strange part. Because if you place one human beside one mammoth, the story looks impossible. The mammoth wins size. The mammoth wins strength. The mammoth wins weight. The mammoth wins reach. The mammoth wins fear. A human has soft skin, small bones, short arms, no claws, no thick fur, no giant teeth, no natural armor. One human alone is not terrifying. One human alone is fragile. Cold can hurt him. Hunger can weaken him. A broken leg can end his life. A storm can stop him. A large animal can crush him without even trying. So how did this weak creature become one of the most successful hunters on Earth? Most people imagine a simple answer. They picture a brave man, a spear in his hand, the huge mammoth in front of him. One perfect throw, one heroic moment. But that image is too simple. It makes the ancient world look like an action movie. It makes the hunter look like a lone superhero. And that is probably not the real secret. The real weapon was not just the spear. The real weapon was the group around the spear. The eyes watching from far away. The hands making tools. The older people remembering the land. The young people learning the tracks. The voices sharing information. The fire keeping everyone together. The plan that existed before anyone moved. Humans did not hunt mammoths as one body. They hunted as a system. That is what made them different. Not strength, not speed, not claws, not teeth, but something much stranger. Humans could connect their minds, then act together as if they were one larger creature. A mammoth was one powerful body. The human group was many small minds. And when those minds worked together, something new appeared. A plan bigger than any one person. A plan that could wait. A plan that could remember. A plan that could change. A plan that could turn weakness into power. Before any hunt began, humans had to watch. They watched the herd from far away. They watched where the animals walked. They watched where they drank. They watched where they slowed down. They watched where the ground became soft. They watched where the wind moved. They watched where the snow held footprints. This was not random. This was knowledge. A mammoth footprint was not just a mark in the ground. It was a message. It said, they came this way. It said, they were here recently. It said, the herd is moving in this direction. It said, they may return. A modern person may look at the ground and see dirt. A skilled tracker sees a story, a broken branch, a deep print, a patch of grass pressed flat, a trail near water, a change in smell, a silence in the birds. Each sign is small, but together the signs become a map, and a map is powerful, because a map lets the mind travel before the body moves. That is one of the great human abilities, to stand in one place and imagine another place, to look at the ground and picture what happened yesterday, to look at the sky and guess what may happen tomorrow, to look at an alley and imagine how a herd might pass through it. That kind of thinking changes everything, because the hunt does not begin when people run. The hunt begins when people notice. Then they talk. One person sees tracks. Another remembers a river. Another knows the wind. Another knows a narrow pass between two hills. Another remembers that the herd came this way last season. Alone, each fact is small. Together, the facts become a plan. That is cooperation. And cooperation is not just standing near each other. Many animals stand near each other. A herd stands together. A flock moves together. A pack hunts together. But humans could do something more flexible. They could give different roles to different people. One person could watch. One person could track. One person could make tools. One person could carry water. One person could keep the fire alive. One person could teach the children. One person could remember what went wrong last time. That matters, because a mammoth hunt was not one moment. It was a chain of decisions. Where should we go? When should we move? Who saw the tracks? Where is the safest path? What does the wind tell us? Who is tired? Who understands this place? Who knows the old story about this herd? A single mistake could ruin the plan. If someone moved too early, the herd might flee. If someone panicked, the group could scatter. If someone misunderstood a signal, the timing could break. So trust mattered. Trust turned fear into timing. Timing turned movement into strategy. Strategy turned weakness into power. This is why humans were dangerous. Not because they were monsters. Not because they were stronger than nature. But because they could learn together. And then do something with what they learn. A mammoth had strength inside one body. Humans had strength outside the body. In tools, in memory, in language, in fire, in stories, in teaching, in social trust. A spear point was not just a sharp rock. It was a result of many lens. Someone had to find the right stone. Someone had to know how to shape it. Someone had to know how to attach it. Someone had to know which would work. Someone had to know how to repair it. Someone had to teach that skill before dying. So even a simple tool carried a hidden history. Inside one spear was memory. Not written memory. Not books. Not schools. But memory stored in hands. Memory stored in habits. Memory stored in stories told beside the fire. That is culture. Culture is memory outside the skull. It lets one generation pass useful knowledge to the next. It lets the young begin where the old stop. Without culture, each child would have to discover everything again. How to make fire. How to find tracks. How to read weather. How to shape stone. How to stay warm. How to avoid danger. How to work with others. But with culture, knowledge accumulates, slowly, imperfectly, but powerfully. This may be one of the deepest reasons humans changed the planet. We do not only learn from our own mistakes. We inherit the mistakes of others. A child can learn about a dangerous river without falling into it. The young hunter can learn a bad route without taking it. A group can remember a failed plan and improve it. The living can learn from the dead, not through magic, through teaching, through memory, through repeated stories. Around a fire, a story was not just entertainment. It was survival. A story could say, "Do not go there in winter." A story could say, "The herd returns when the snow melts." A story could say, "Listen to the wind." A story could say, "Stay together." A story could say, "One person alone is not enough." And this is where the mammoth hunt becomes more than a hunt. It becomes a window into what humans are. Humans are not the strongest animal. We are not the fastest animal. We are not the toughest animal. But we are one of the best animals at turning information into cooperation. We can see a pattern, share the pattern, remember the pattern, teach the pattern, and act on the pattern together. That is the hidden mechanism. Imagine one small human standing in the snow, cold, hungry, afraid. In front of him is a giant mammoth. The obvious answer is that he has no chance. But now imagine 10 humans, then 20, not rushing, not acting randomly. Washing, waiting, reading the land, sharing signals, remembering old routes, using tools made by patient hands, trusting each other. Suddenly, the story changes. The humans are still small, but the plan is not small. The plan can stretch across a valley. The plan can last for days. The plan can include people who are not even present. The elder who taught the map, the maker who shaped the tool, the child who will remember the lesson later. This is how a weak creature becomes powerful, not by becoming less weak, but by building something around weakness. The human body did not become mammoth body. The human mind learned to borrow other mind. That is the great turn. One person thinks, a group remembers. One person sees, a group maps. One person fears, a group steadies. One person dies, a culture continues. And that culture could turn one animal into many kinds of survival. A mammoth could mean food. It could mean warmth. It could mean tools. It could mean shelter. It could mean stories. It could mean another season alive. To modern ears, this sounds harsh. And it was harsh. The Ice Age was not gentle. Survival was not clean. Ancient people did not live inside our world of stores, roads, hospitals, and electric lights. They lived close to hunger, close to cold, close to injury, close to animals much stronger than themselves. But that closeness created intelligence of a different kind. Not intelligence as a test score. Not intelligence as trivia. Practical intelligence. Social intelligence. Environmental intelligence. The kind that asks, what does this track mean? Who can I trust? What happened last season? Where will the herd move? How do we keep everyone alive? That kind of intelligence is quiet, but it is powerful, and if you look closely, it still runs the modern world. We no longer chase mammoths across frozen plains, but we still live inside shared plans. A city is a shared plan. No one person builds a city alone. A city needs builders, drivers, teachers, doctors, farmers, engineers, cleaners, cooks, parents, strangers. Most of them will never meet. Yet somehow, the system works. Food arrives, water flows, lights turn on, children learn, messages travel, money moves, people follow rules they did not personally create. That is not so different from an ancient group around a fire. It is larger, more complex, more technological, but the basic idea is familiar. Many minds, shared symbols, common trust, coordinated action. Money is a shared belief. A school is memory passed forward. A company is many people moving toward one goal. The country is a story large enough for millions to act inside it. The internet is a campfire with wires. We still tell each other where the danger is. We still follow invisible maps. We still survive by trusting strangers. The mammoth changed shape. Today, the mammoth may be a problem too big for one person. A disease, a climate challenge, a financial system, a war, a technology, a city, a crisis, a future we do not fully understand. And once again, one person is small. One person forgets. One person panics. One person sees only part of the map, but many people can hold more memory. Many people can see more angles. Many people can test more ideas. Many people can build a plan bigger than any single mind. That does not mean groups are always wise. Groups can be foolish. Groups can believe the wrong story. Groups can follow fear. Groups can make terrible mistakes. Ancient humans made mistakes too. Some plans fail. Some knowledge was wrong. Some choices had consequences. Cooperation is not automatically good, but cooperation is powerful. It multiplies whatever humans carry into it. Fear can spread, but so can courage. Confusion can spread, but so can knowledge. Violence can spread, but so can care. A group can destroy. A group can build. That is the uncomfortable truth. The same ability that helped humans survive the Ice Age also built the modern world. It's the ability to imagine together, to agree on a plan, to believe in signals, to remember beyond one lifetime, to act as if invisible things are real. A route, a rule, a promise, a warning, a tradition, a map, a future. This is what the mammoth story really teaches. It is not just about ancient hunters. It is about the strange human talent for becoming larger than ourselves. A lone person is a fragile animal. A group with shared memory becomes something else. Something that can cross continents, build shelters, make tools, teach children, create cities, invent money, send messages across oceans, and look back thousands of years later, asking how it all began. Maybe it began in moments like this: a cold plain, a giant animal, a small group around a fire, someone drawing tracks in the dirt, someone pointing toward the river, someone remembering the wind, someone afraid but listening, someone young, hushing carefully, someone old, passing on what they knew. No one there was a superhero. No one there was stronger than the mammoth. But together, they could see a pattern. Together, they could hold a memory. Together, they could make a plan. And together, they could face something bigger than themselves. Maybe that was the first real human superpower. Not strength, not speed, not claws, not teeth, but the ability to turn many small minds into one shared tomorrow.